It's not a good idea to tell your professor that your English is poor when you don't understand what they said. You need to know that the main responsibility is just to help the student to understand the course material or the content, not to improve your English. When you enter the classroom, it is assumed that you already have the necessary English skill to support your study there. So your language barrier aren't the concern. If you mention it right away, it may leave a negative first expression, especially when the question follow are not well thought out. I know others videos, they might be recommend you some really good translation app, but I wouldn't say that because I don't want you guys rely on the translation app too much. If you truly want to take this chance to improve your English, you should treasure the chance. It's a great opportunity to immerse yourself in a 100% English-speaking environment, which may help you improve your English faster since ever then. I personally experienced the same situation. In early video, I shared my story that I cannot understand my professor fully. In today's video, I just want to share some tips how I overcome the language barrier. I hope it could be helpful for you. Alright, let's try to figure out why we might be having the trouble on understanding. What I mentioned earlier, you enter the university, which means that you must pass the language test, so your English is not poor. The reason behind that may be just because we are not familiar with various accents. Many of us, it's common that tend to learn English with the same teacher, or just talk to few people during the way we learn English. So when you are steadily expose yourself to people from different countries with different accents, that could be challenge even me. I have been taking online English class with more than 10 Filipino teachers, and recently I also tried to have the class with South Africa teacher. The accent tend to be like a British accent. In the past, I also create quite many opportunities for myself to interact with the foreigner. I have been traveling in the Philippines for a few months, where I make quite many foreigner friends. But that's not enough. When I start my study in NUI Galway, I was so struggling. I didn't understand at all, maybe just 20% of the whole content. Most of my classmates, they are the local student, Irish, and another big part of the classmates, they come from India, US. So all of them almost they bring with a different accents. So I cannot understand my professor in the classroom, either understand my classmate outside the classroom. It was so tough. Anyway, let's turn back to the topic. If the issue is not about accent, you might be just struggling with the specific language that you use in your major, like technical terms. Take my major as the example. I studied at digital university, and there are some terms like lead generation, organic traffic. I guess you might understand the single words meaning literally, but when the terms here, you might be confused what's that. So it might be the quite difficult part to overcome, but there still have solutions. What I did is that the class recording will be uploaded on the learning system after the class. So I will spend a lot of time on reviewing the video when I come back to my mental place after the study in the university. That become my important routine, and it helps me to understand the basic content, the basic knowledge. If you not even understand what they taught in the classroom, that could be quite awkward. And when you finish this step, you might know that actually what they teach in the classroom is quite simple, so it's not enough. To fill this gap, I will use YouTube as my important tool to deeper the knowledge I need. I highly recommend you guys to get familiar with YouTube. It is such versatile platform. You can find all the contents you're interested in on this platform, even though some really professional knowledge. I use it a lot. I can say YouTube is my second classroom. So this is the second step. When you do these two steps, actually you already can quite confident to turn back to the classroom. And also, I will talk about my study with my personal online English teacher. Yeah, I study English online all the time while I study abroad. I feel comfortable to ask my English teacher any questions. And her company is really important for me. It is not only the support academically, but also a mental support. Sometimes it's not easy to study and live in abroad. But I know it is not a common solution, or this solution is suited for everyone. But nowadays, you can use ChatGPT handily. So if you want to talk with somebody, especially you cannot find a classmate who can study with you, be your study partner, you can try to talk to ChatGPT. It's useful as well, and you guys are lucky. There wasn't ChatGPT when I was in the university. You might also find it challenging to understand your classmate during the group discussion when you're talking about the assignment. The reason is similar, just like what we mentioned earlier, maybe just because their accent and also the way they express. I can say almost of the English speaker, when they do the casual expression, they do not follow the grammar at all. So your mind can understand every single verse, but when all the words put in the sentences, you just don't know what they are talking about. It's really common too. My suggestion is that you don't have to be too harsh on yourself in the very beginning. Whenever you need to do the group discussion, you can always try to suggest them to have the online discussion. Online meeting could be more flexible. Here, I strongly recommend you to use the Google Meet. You can record the meeting so that you can easily to review the discussion. And also, the really good function is that it can provide a voice to text immediately, so you can more easy to understand what they are talking about during the meeting. By this way, you can understand what they said step by step. Your mind can also learn the way how to express themselves. It might be tough in the beginning, but it's worth it trying. You might even feel that's a really fun way to learn English. That's all I would like to share in today's video. I hope you found these tips helpful and they can bring you a little bit confidence in navigating your study abroad. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.